Hi everyone, welcome back to Life Up Education TV. I'm your host Natsune. Today is another episode of ASK Natsune Show, and the first one I wanted to talk about today is this photo right here. What do you see? So there's a rooster. Okay, so I'm gonna read the caption now. The caption goes, "As the rooster which believes he's the one that causes the sun to rise." I think there's two mixed messages here, but essentially my own take of this is, when I look at this, I remember of this story someone once told me about this janitor who works at the NASA. So someone asked this janitor guy who works at NASA, "What do you do?" And he said, "I'm helping a man to land on the moon." And I think this is such a beautiful thing, beautiful way to look at it. Like on one side, it's like, yeah, maybe you might not matter, right? Like, yeah, maybe you're not the center of the world. But in the other way, it's like, so what? Like, why don't you have the best fucking story you can ever have for your life? You only live once, YOLO, right? So I think I don't demonize for people to be so egocentric and be so romantic about their life. I think I don't care if you're right or wrong. Like, I want you to be happy. I want you to come up with a story that drives you, like whether that's truth or not. Like, I think that's what's important. Like, let's live with the inspiration, you know? Like, let's with a positive feeling, inspiration. And I think that's what matters. Like, I don't have enough ego to come in and say like you're wrong, like to a person who has such a positive like willingness to see the life with a dream. Like I don't have enough coldness or ego to tell that person to their face to say you're wrong. And I'm not even right, even if I did that. Like, so in the end, it really comes down to you finding your own truth. So, by all means, I want you to be the rooster. I want you to think you're the reason sun rises. Just as long as it doesn't interfere with, you know, stepping other people's interests or stepping other people's ambition. Like, by all means, you should be cocky. I hate the word humble. The dictionary definition says, having or showing a mindset or low estimate of one's importance. What on earth is so good about that? I see. Okay, well, let's redefine once again. Let's read the definition once again. The dictionary definition says, having or showing a mindset or low estimate of one's importance. Humble. I think it has to do more with your willingness. Like, it doesn't have to do with a fact. Like, it doesn't have to do with like what is actually going on. But I think it has to do more with the fact that, like, if you're able to give up something of yourself for the sake of others, for the sake of like total good rather than individual gain, individual benefit, then I think in that picture you are working interdependently with others rather than independently with others. And for that matter, I think that's a high level thing to do. And I think it's, if you're a leader, I mean, I think it's required. Like, the thing is, like, you need to understand the world is never about you, right? And I think, why do I push this? Because the moment you think the world is about you, you become too soft. You become too vulnerable to adversity, rejections, and failures. And that's the only reason why I encourage people to think that in the end of the day, like, you should have humility. Like, you should understand that the world is never about you. So that's what I would say. Okay. The next one goes, what weakens us is to feel offended by the deeds and misdeeds of our fellow men and women. Our self-importance requires that we spend most of our lives offended by someone. And I think it kind of like expand to what we said the last. I think when we think about self-importance, I kind of directly connects that with individual suffering, individual needs. And in that sense, I think this is true. Like, you are coming from scarcity place, you're not coming from abundance space. So you feel like in order for you to feel important, in order for you to feel the love, self-worth, you are playing the subtract game. Like, you're trying to fit in a limited spot rather than understanding that there's enough for everyone. So what is my point is that, like, you feel offended because you feel like you're not an important person, right? Like, you feel like other people's are more important and you're not, like your demand is not met, right? But in reality, I think you should always start from abundance place, not the scarcity place. Suffering is you obsessing over yourself, like Tony Robbins says. And I think that idea connects a lot with scarcity versus abundance. And in this case, again, like, self-importance is when someone thinks that people who are important, like the seat for people who are important is limited, it's not unlimited. That's why people want to get in, right? Even in the cost of talking lower to other people's need, or talking lower to other people's worth. So that's what I think. Okay, the next one. Is being ambitious better than not being one? I think today's topic talks a lot about, I think, individual need versus like societal need, and scarcity versus abundance. The same thing I think here happening is that ambition is good, but like, you should use that as a utility for you to be happy, ultimately happy, like fulfilled. It shouldn't be the only and one driver that drives your life, because ambition, in another word, is scarcity, because you feel like it's not enough for you, right? And you feel like you can never achieve. So you want more always. And psychologically it makes sense. It's like a dopamine effect, I guess. But I think when you come from abundance rather than scarcity, I really believe that. Like, bottom line is, it's always better when you come from abundance, because you're not like super desperate. And desperation, I mean, it depends on context too, but many times putting your desperation as your default character never ends up well. So that's what I want to say. Okay, the next one. Asking for help and expecting customers to pay for your cry doesn't work. You need to be in a position to provide them a value. And I think this is, once again, connects back to the concept we've been talking about, individual needs versus like abundance and societal needs. And you know, I got this DM from someone, and this person was crying for help basically. And I told this person that, look, like, so this was like a business service, and she was saying like, you know, I can shout out your page. You just pay me like $20 and I have like, you know, 700 followers, whatever, and I can shout out for your page. And I told that person like, look, I mean, I really appreciate your hustle and I appreciate that you reach out to me, but like right now I'm okay for that. And then this person, instead of offering what was value to me, this person started saying like, you know, the time is tough, like you know, my life is hard, I need help, like, right? And I told this person, look, I mean, I get it, like, I understand. I also do my own thing, like, I work for myself, so I understand where you come from, but you know, clients don't pay money for you to help you. Clients pay money for you because they can buy value from you. Like, you need to be helpful rather than crying for your help, like crying for your problem. Like, frankly, no one cares, right? So that's what I told them. And then they I think they still follow me after that, but I think I kind of like remember of that story a lot when I think about this. So that's like all that basically summarize that the world is always about the world. It's never about you. And the world will continue if you're in it or not. So it's a humility. Like, can you keep up? And if you want to succeed, you better keep up. And that's a fact you can't change. And that's okay. You need to accept it and like adapt, right? But anyway, so that's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.